On the way home from a convenience store, Subaru finds himself in another world at a marketplace. He converses with a fruit vendor, and then is attacked by three hoodlums in an alley. Subaru is saved by a half-elf girl, who after learning that Subaru is unfamiliar with local history, geography and language introduces herself as Satella and her companion Puck, and he decides to return the favor by retrieving her insignia that was stolen by Felt. Subaru and Satella travel to the loot house where Felt was going to sell the insignia only to find her dead, and shortly after entering the house they are also killed. Subaru's special ability, Return by Death, activates, and he finds himself reset back at the moment he was speaking with the vendor. Unaware of his power and resurrection, Subaru decides to head out again to the loot house. This time he meets Felt and Rom, and negotiates with them for the insignia. Elsa, the person who killed Subaru in the first timeline, arrives, and Subaru offers his cell phone whose camera feature is perceived to be more valuable than the money Elsa has, so Felt and Rom accept his offer. However, Elsa kills everybody again after Subaru states his intention to return the insignia to its original owner. Subaru then respawns. This time he greets Satella, but she becomes immediately offended because an unnamed soldier is talking to his base telling them he's the only survivor of his combat unit before his contact is cut off, and he is killed by Crans. Several survivors are trying to escape when they are killed by Hammer and Shark. Watching from his base, Tao tells the group the target they're looking for isn't at that location and sends Takeo to intercept. Takeo takes out the soldiers easily and apprehends the target. Shark and Hammer are complaining that they weren't satisfied killing all those people and were hoping for more action. Crans tells them to stop complaining and informs his team that they have a new mission and they're to head to Japan. In Japan, we see Razel staring up at the full moon, standing outside on the balcony. Toshiro, Shinwoo, and Manabu, Ikhan, are walking to school in the morning and are surprised to see a new guard. The two greet M21, and after he inquires about Toshiro's arm, he explains that he got into a car accident protecting Manabu. Frankenstein and Razel are watching events from his office. In a flashback, M21 tells them about the Union and about the rest of the M-series experiments, and also gives them further information on Jake and Mari. He explains that he is the only survivor and expresses regret at not being able to save his comrade. Frankenstein states he is free to stay with them if he needs a place to stay and offers him a job at his school. Back to the present, Razel tells Frankenstein he is ready, and Frankenstein opens his desk drawer, wondering if his master is going to try what he suggested last night. Razel enters the classroom and heads towards Toshiro and Manabu. He stares at Toshiro's cast for a while before taking out a pen and drawing a cute cat on it. Frankenstein sits in his office wondering if his master is enjoying himself. Toshiro uses his phone and takes a picture of what's written on Mr. Park's blackboard. At dinner, Razel is waiting for his ramen to grow when he overhears a student on the phone tell his parents he'll be late since he's hanging out with a friend after school. At the end of the day, the students are heading home. Manabu asks Razel if he'd like to come over to his house, but then they remember he lives with the director and doesn't have a phone. Razel meets with Frankenstein and M21 on the roof of the school and tells him about his day. He tells him about the children having something he lacks, and after dropping several hints, Frankenstein realizes he's talking about a mobile phone. Frankenstein tells him that he'll get one for him as soon as possible. The next day at school, M21 is greeting students at the gate when Toshiro calls him an old man, making M21 cringe. In the classroom, they notice Razel has a smartphone and Manabu teaches him how to use it. Razel sends an email to Frankenstein, which makes Frankenstein happy. M21 is watching the students play in the courtyard, and the janitor approaches him and tells him the school is a great place and speaks highly of the director. A car swerves into the courtyard, almost running over a few students. A gang starts harassing the students, looking for Toshiro. M21 notices the incident and wants to help, but is reluctant because he's keeping a low profile. The janitor steps in to tell the leader that vehicles aren't permitted here and that he should leave. Having had enough, the leader breaks the janitor's broom and is about to punch him when Toshiro steps in. The man is angry because Toshiro apparently made a move on his girlfriend. When Manabu asks him about it, Toshiro explains he was on his way to school when the man's girlfriend tripped. He caught her and that was it. He tells the man's girlfriend to explain the situation, which she refuses to do, so Toshiro has no option but to fight. Toshiro successfully avoids a few attacks by the man before a blow lands. M21 is still unsure about stepping in when he senses Razel behind him. He wonders why Razel is staring at him like that, as the man continues to attack Toshiro. Getting up, Toshiro manages to land a blow before being knocked back. The janitor steps in a second time, and the guy picks him up by the scruff of the neck when M21 approaches, telling him to let the janitor go. The man attempts to punch M21, who avoids the attack and grabs him by the chain he's wearing. M21 doesn't budge when the man tries to get up and instead flings him against the bonnet of another car. He kneels next to the man and tells him if no one was watching, he'd be dead. The man tells his gang they're leaving and they all get in their car and take off.